This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. A 38-year-old Glenorchy man remains in custody tonight after being charged with a string of offences relating to a shooting at a Hobart bar. Wayne William Howlett appeared in court today and was denied bail.
Family and friends of Wayne William Howlett today packing in to Hobart Magistrates Court. The 38-year-old powerlifter sitting in the dock wearing a Versace long-sleeve t-shirt and jeans, looking to his supporters who'd filled the courtroom. The Glenorchy man charged with numerous offences relating to a shooting at Pablo's Cocktails and Dreams bar late on Saturday evening. Police alleging he's responsible for firing 20 rounds through the door of the bar with an SKS assault rifle and fleeing from the scene with an accomplice, dropping the weapon and ammunition nearby. While the accomplice remains on the run tonight, Mr Howlett was yesterday arrested in Hobart CBD. Now charged with recklessly discharging a firearm without regard for safety, injuring property, carrying a firearm with intent to commit a crime, possessing ammunition and a firearm in public without a licence, and possessing and using an unregistered firearm. Wayne William Howlett's application for bail was rejected by Chief Magistrate Catherine Geeson today. He remains in custody and will reappear in court in July. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A Tasmanian coroner is urging parents not to sleep in the same bed as their babies after finding a 2-month-old died last year doing just that. Simon Cooper released his findings into the baby's death today on Red Nose Day. Our reporter Monika Dadson has the details.
The baby boy was born here at the Launceston General Hospital in June 2016, but 2 months later died in his sleep. The coroner found that on the day of the death, the boy's parents decided the whole family, including the baby's 2 siblings, would sleep on mattresses in the lounge room, as the bedrooms were cold. The mother reported that about 11 o'clock that August night, she fed her baby, who fell asleep. She then wrapped him in a blanket, put a dummy in his mouth and laid him on a mattress next to her. But when the mum woke at 5 the next morning, the 2-month-old had blood on his face and was not breathing. He was unable to be resuscitated. In his findings, the coroner noted that soon after the baby's birth in 2016, police attended a family violence incident at the home, but no suspicious circumstances were found in the death. Mr Cooper has ruled the baby died of sudden, unexpected death in infancy. He's now urging all parents to ensure they don't sleep in the same bed as those younger than 12 months and to ensure babies are kept in cots on their own and laying on their back. Mr Cooper says it's clear in this tragic case the message was not properly understood.
The Premier is marking 100 days since the Liberals' re-election, saying his government is meeting its early targets. But the continuing issue of pressure on the health system is taking the shine off the milestone. Nurses claim one patient at the Launceston General Hospital had been waiting for an inpatient bed for more than 90 hours.
Trained on the job, yeah?
The Premier getting some cafe experience in his 100th day on the job since re-election.
So can you confirm this is a Salamanca latte?
Giving a personal welcome to an interstate arrival, selling him as an example of Tasmania's success.
And, welcome to Tasmania, Adam, one of the bright sparks from interstate who recognises that Tasmania is the place to be and a wonderful place to live, but also to work and to be part of our booming visitor economy. This is going to be interpretive design.
But as the Premier marks his 100 days, trouble is brewing in Tasmania's stretched health system. The government is redeveloping the LGH, with 40 beds to be opened over the coming years and more staff. But nurses say the need is immediate, raising the case today of an adolescent who spent 60 hours in the emergency department. Another person, 90 hours, waiting for an inpatient bed.
Patients who have been awaiting over 90 hours for an inpatient bed is incredibly concerning, and certainly our members are concerned that they're unable to provide the quality care that they would like to be able to provide.
This was the scene outside the Royal Hobart Hospital this afternoon. Ambulances ramped, waiting for patient space in the emergency department. This week, the hospital was lifted to its highest level of escalation.
Going to level 4 at the Royal Hobart Hospital, the ramping across the state, industrial action by nurses shows that we have a system in crisis. This is not just a peak period of people being sick.
Those escalations that happen at peak times of demand for the hospitals are the reasons why we are investing more into our hospital system, why we are rebuilding the Royal Hobart Hospital.
But there are ongoing concerns about the Royal Hobart Hospital redevelopment. The Staff Association holding an extraordinary meeting last night. Representatives telling the Minister's office today of their worries about placement of psychiatric services.
We need to stop, we need to have a look at the master plan, we need to involve the senior clinicians who have an intricate understanding of the functionality of the K block, how it'll work, what won't work. 100
days down for the government, but still a tough job ahead. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Questions are being asked about the capacity of a new Bruny Island ferry service. The new operator, SeaLink, plans to build 2 new vessels to come into service by 2021, but they're only set to carry 36 vehicles each, in comparison to the current 68.
Already squeezed, and at peak time we're seeing a whole range of consequences of that squeeze. And what we've seen is now a government has signed off on a 10-year deal which barely lifts capacity, which actually doesn't resolve the issue whatsoever. And then we've seen now that there is a proposal for variable pricing.
The government says there will be more sailings, which means more capacity per hour. A tribute to a Tasmanian pilot and women's aviation advocate who tragically lost her life in a plane crash earlier this year is underway. A mural dedicated to the late Sandra Southwell will be unveiled in Sheffield later this year.
5 months on from the crash which claimed the life of Sandra Southwell just before her 65th birthday, partner Barry Bransden has organised a permanent tribute to the trailblazer.
She was an incredible woman. She wasn't very big, but had an awful lot of fight and an awful lot of adventure, and yeah, inspired everybody that she came in contact with.
Barry, who was badly injured in the incident near Tomahawk on January 20, has spent the past month working with the artist chosen for the job.
Barry gave me a whole load of photographs and a CD, and I sort of felt after all that and talking to people that knew her, I actually did get a handle on her, and she was obviously a cheeky person. She had a lot of courage.
My first trip in here was very, very emotional. In fact, you know, I couldn't speak for a few moments.
The pair determined to get Sandra's likeness, love of equestrian and aviation just right.
Her initial flight was to circumnavigate Australia in a 2-seat aeroplane, and went on to become the Australian National Vice President of the Australian Women's Pilots Association.
A scholarship in Sandra's honour now also assists the training of Australian women in aviation. The mural will be officially unveiled in Sheffield on the 4th of August. For Barry, it won't bring his best friend back, but it will be a fitting tribute to her fearless nature.
The cheekiness in the face of Sandra, it is her.
Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's mariners are in safer hands. The state's maritime radio service hitting the airwaves with a new operations centre. The service has been a vital link for vessels since the 1970s, with volunteers keeping a careful ear out for those in distress.
Preparing for another day of keeping Tasmanians safe at sea.
Victorian Alliance, this is Tasmaritime.
From this small room in the heart of Hobart, a handful of volunteers are charged with a big responsibility, updating vessels on weather and marine hazards from Bass Strait all the way to New Zealand. After 3 years in the making, Tas Maritime Radio finally has a new operations centre, complete with modern technology and comforts.
Our operators love it. They've got plenty of room. They've got daylight streaming in, and it's warm. Yeah, it's really good.
It's a busy job as the vital communication link between ships and emergency services.
Exciting parts about the job is that you never know what's going to happen. Some days, it's particularly in the winter time like this, it's very quiet and you might not get any calls at all.
Each year the service takes around 10 mayday calls, 30 urgent calls and countless others for help. Volunteers have even aided in the rescue of a yacht containing 6 souls off the coast of New Zealand.
They were rescued by a French destroyer of all things, and we were responsible for that rescue.
All in a day's work for those giving up their time.
And without the volunteers we certainly couldn't do it. There wouldn't be a service without our volunteers.
Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania is well known for its food and wine offerings, often attracting international attention. But our reputation could soon expand even further to include sculptures, thanks to a passionate group of artists.
5 of Tasmania's most popular Tamar Valley wineries will soon be home to sculptures crafted from right across the world. Entries to this year's Art Entwined Sculpture Prize coming from as far as Sweden.
We've got representations from Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Sweden and even New Zealand this year, so it's very exciting. Look, the quality of work, it's very diverse, which is what we want. Yeah, we're very excited to see what they deliver.
These are some of the 40 finalists that have been selected to battle it out this year. From here, they'll now make a 1-metre model of their sculpture, which will then be judged, with one artist taking home a cool $20,000. David Hamilton took out the top prize in 2014 with this piece titled The Knot, and says the art of sculpturing has come a long way.
Going by other sculpture exhibitions throughout Australia, some of them, one of the major ones at the moment is Wallara, which has over 600 applications for each year of its exhibition. So there's a long way to go yet, but we're setting our mark now on the national scale, and I think that's a very good move.
Those behind the awards say the end goal is for the sculptures to form a tourist trail, unlike anything else offered in Tasmania.
It's where we want this prize to go. We want it to be international. We want people to come and see the beautiful West Tamar Valley, be part of it.
The winner will be announced on September 28. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has ended the last day of the financial year on a negative note after a late afternoon sell-off as energy stocks ran out of steam despite higher oil prices and healthcare and financial stocks weighed on the bourse. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 20.8 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 73.87 US cents and 109.08 New Zealand cents.
And after shocking the competition, but for very different reasons, Clarence and Kingborough are preparing to square off. The Roos will be out for redemption after a disappointing loss to Glenorchy, while the Tigers are keen to show that their second win of the season wasn't a fluke.
What a difference a few weeks and your side's first win in 10 matches can make.
Like, you clearly haven't watched the game because you've said there to Paul that you're expecting Glenorchy to get a confidence-boosting win this week. So maybe you've got to do a little bit more, mate. The week just changes for you, you know, Monday morning or even Sunday. You wake up and you're happy and the sun's shining, even if it's raining.
Bomella says the Tigers' shock win over the Blues last weekend is just what was needed to restore some belief back at the Twin Ovals.
Just really pleased for the playing group as a whole for the work that they've been putting in and the improvement that they've shown over the last month.
But the pats on the back ended come Monday with the Tigers dead set on backing up the performance against the Roos at Blunston Arena tomorrow.
We don't just want it to be one more, you know, 2, 3, 4 more.
That'll be easier said than done, with Clarence predicted to come out firing following a 53-point upset loss to Glenorchy.
Spilt milk stuff, isn't it? You know, you can cry about it, but just clean it up and move on. But I suppose for us it was the way we got beaten. Just unacceptable.
And despite heading into the contest as favourites, Webberley says there'll be no room for complacency against the Tigers' side with a taste for victory.
Just their ability to hunt the ball around the contest over the last 5 weeks has been a lot better than what it was at the start of the year.
Launceston City's undefeated season will be well and truly tested this weekend when the NPL ladder leaders travel south to Darcy Street to take on third place South Hobart and what's being touted as their biggest challenge this year so far.
The hardest trip in Tassie is to Darcy Street, so and I would agree with that. They've just got it set up there as a fortress. I'm hoping in a year's time people will be saying the same thing about Lonnie City.
A win for South Hobart could prove crucial in the business end of the season, with the side sitting 9 points behind City on the ladder.
They know how to defend well, and they've got good finishers in the team as well, so
They're where they are because of the football they played, and they deserve to be there.
The sides drew 0-0 in their last NPL encounter. And in just their second year in the Australian Netball League, the Tasmanian Magpies are preparing to make their assault on the competition title, travelling to Canberra to take on the New South Wales Waratahs on Saturday in the semi-final.
Both our mid-courts are quite short and very fast, so it'll be a fast-paced game, and obviously there's some taller shooters at either end of the court, so I think the battle will probably be won in the mid-court.
A win will see them play off for a spot in the grand final the following day, while a loss will mean playing off in the bronze medal match.
It's everyone's dream. Whilst we speak about not focusing on winning and losing, obviously to be in a grand final at this level would be something that all the girls would remember forever.
5 Tasmanians are expected to take to the court, with the rest of the Magpie squad to be made up of Victorians. And finally in sport, Southern Cross News understands that a coach for the new Greater North side in the Cricket Tasmania Premier League has been selected, with former Australian and Tasmanian cricketer Tim Coyle expected to be named in the role. Coyle is one of the most well-known figures in the sport in the state, having guided the Tigers to their first ever Pura Cup title 10 years ago. The Greater North side will enter the Premier League competition for the 2018-19 season.
Good evening. The cold front arrived with a few showers today. Hobart 10 degrees, Launceston and Bruny 13, Devonport a top of 14, St Helens and Friendly Beach is our high 16, Butler's Gorge the low with -3, Smithton and the Islands 14 degrees, Low Head and Strawn 13 today, Grove 9, Lyawini 8 and Ooze 7. The early showers ease during the day. We can see here the high cloud right over the state. That cloud also over southern Victoria, all linked to the cold front. Behind that system there is a cold pool of air highlighted by low-level cumulus cloud. The interior of the country is relatively clear of cloud. Winds in from the northwest early tomorrow, but shifting west-southwesterly during the morning and reaching 30 knots over western waters and to 35 knots over the south with a 3-metre swell. Gale warning, that's on from Tasman Island to Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning for remaining waters, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. Let's get into the weekend. A light shower for Hobart, a top of 12, just 9 for Medina, a cloudy day for Oatlands and 9 degrees as well. Launceston, showers easing, 13 the top, 13 for Devonport, a shower or two, maybe some snow for Lyawini, a top of 6 degrees. Bruny, morning showers 11, just 11 as well for Strawn, and showers easing from Marrawar 12 degrees. And for St Helens tomorrow, a shower or two clearing, 14 the top, 14 also for Swansea, bit of cloud over Orford and 13 degrees. On Sunday mainly fine apart from a shower over the west, far south and Bass Strait, snow to 900 metres, a shower over the west on Monday extending to the north late morning, and on Tuesday showers over the west and south extending statewide in the afternoon. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow, a possible shower for Adelaide and Melbourne, a cool day in Canberra, 11 degrees, a sunny 19 in Sydney and a foggy start in Brisbane, but 24 later. It's cloudy over the state at the moment. Hobart 7 degrees, 8 degrees in Launceston and it's 11 degrees in Devonport. Joe, you have a great weekend. See you Monday.
You surely will. Thank you very much for that, Murph. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.